You are someone who was born in the States, grew up in the States, started your career in the States, and then moved here and became a citizen. So how important is it for you to be celebrating Canadian Film Day?
It's huge for me. Yeah. I mean, I moved to Toronto for Flashpoint
Yeah.
and then just fell in love with the city and the country. And I started transitioning into writing and directing right after Flashpoint ended. And so the last 6 years I found my true passion. And I just find Canada and Toronto so nurturing to filmmakers. Like, I'm so happy that I made the big moves that I made to move my life up here.
Well, that's good. And we're happy to have you here. And we're happy that you're giving us these films. And I want to let you know that I did get to watch the film during the film festival. It was just nutso, but I'm glad that I had the opportunity to watch it on the weekend. Okay. And I was just blown away just by the opening shots. You see those exquisite legs walking along this bridge, and it just catches your attention immediately. And this is Tammy's Always Dying is a film that you did not write. This is the first time that you're directing a film that somebody else has written. So what was it about the script, Amy Jo, that caught your attention and you decided to go for it?
So I met Joanne Sarazen, who is the writer of the script, at the Canadian Film Centre. And I was there in the director's lab. Mm-hmm. And she was writing the script and she did a reading of it. And I just sort of cathartically fell in love with the script. My dad is a male version of Tammy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I loved about the script is Joanne's sense of humor is so wicked.
Yeah.
But then yet we're dealing with like these really, really heavy subjects at the same time. And, alcoholism and depression, isn't really funny. No. But I think when you're dealing with somebody who suffers from that, to be able to find a bit of humor within what's happening is kind of the only way to get through it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that because as a director, I mean, you're reading the script and you find there are moments of levity in there, and yes, you have to have it. Otherwise it would be such a downer the whole time. No question. But I wanted to ask you as a director, how did you find that balance? How did you know when there was enough drama and when to kind of insert the levity and make it work, so well in this film?
The editing room. Like we shot the movie and I thought everybody really brought their A game and gave the best performances they could. And we just, the script is funny in itself and heavy in itself, and just finding the honesty in the scenes when we're shooting them. And then the journey in the editing room really, went from a 2.5 hour movie that had all of those beats to bring it to an 1.5 hours. We really had to strip away a lot and like streamline the story. Mm-hmm. And there was a moment when it was like a drama. It was so heavy and it wasn't a movie I loved, that for a second there, I took the amazing assembly cut that Brian Atkinson, who's the editor, did in the beginning, and then where we had landed with this like sort of heavy drama, and I put it in my iMovie and I just played around with it until I found the comedy again, and brought that into the editing room and said, let's like use this sort of as a roadmap and then let Brian take over again. And as we, figured out the movie and the story I wanted to tell.
Yeah.
It can't be a dark, heavy drama. I mean, who wants to watch that?
Well, no, I agree. I mean, listen, we get our share of that, but let's start with the actors that you have here, because you have somebody, like Felicity Huffman, who, listen, I've been a fan of hers forever and ever. She's so good in this. But not only does she come on board as your star, and she just brings it, there's no question. She's also a producer, executive producer on it. So how did that all come together?
So my old manager in Los Angeles, Joni Burstein, she came on as an EP as well. And she's the one who got it into Felicity's hands. And that's the hardest thing for these little indie movies, is to attach a star and to get somebody like Felicity Huffman to read a script.
Yeah.
And Felicity read it, and it really resonated with her. And so I flew to New York and met with her, and with Jessica Adams, the producer, and she came to Hamilton and shot our little movie, and I'm so grateful for that, you know.
Yeah.
And that was part of the contract, was that she'd be, you know, an executive producer as well. And, you know, while I was editing, I would send her versions sometimes. Like she was very helpful and very honest.
Well, and listen, this is a Felicity that we've never seen before. She is so vulnerable. So, I mean, there's nude scenes. There's a scene in the bathtub, which is just full out, like, whatever. It's so real. It's so real. But she's just, you know, the way she looks, and she's so thin, and she really, really threw herself into this role. You must have been so impressed with her, working with her every day, and what she brought to the table.
I was so grateful. One of the things she said to me about a month and a half before filming was, what if we did a no sides on set? Meaning all the actors have to show up 100%. And she says, you can blame that on me. And I will never not do that now. It really freed everybody up. Anastasia, who's wonderful.
Yeah, she is. She's really, really good.
Yeah, and they had just this natural chemistry right off the bat. And, you know, to go toe-to-toe with Felicity Huffman, you have to be pretty brave yourself and have the chops as an actress. And I really think Anastasia holds her own in the movie.
Oh, she absolutely does. And I wanted to ask you about their processes, because I had been reading some interviews that you did, and you said that they both had a very different way of approaching their characters. What did you mean by that?
They did. So Anastasia, she works from the inside out. Like she's very, she's a feeler, and like she had lost her mom to cancer, and, you know, and she identified with a lot of the issues that were going on in subjects of the film. And she really came from this really cathartic place. Yeah. Where I think Felicity is from the stage and from the theater, and she works more from the outside in. Like she grew her grays out and got these yellow teeth, and then she has a craft, and like they just had very different approaches. Mm-hmm. But yet they really met in the middle and collaborated in a great way.
And it worked really, really well. Another major character in this film is that bridge. You know, it's front and center. How did you find that bridge in Hamilton? I've been to Hamilton a million times. I've never seen that bridge.
I found that bridge on Google Maps.
Okay, what do you do? Looking for a good bridge for somebody to jump off.
I knew we were going to shoot in Hamilton, and I just went scouting and searching and as soon as I saw it, I hopped in my car and I drove to Hamilton. Yeah. And it's in a very sketchy neighborhood there, where I love Hamilton, and there's all different. Oh,
it's great. Yeah, it's a great, listen, this is going to be on CH Morning Live. So, you know, talk up Hamilton all you want.
Yeah. Oh, I loved shooting there. I loved it so much. But as soon as I got there, I knew it was the bridge. It's so beautiful. It is a character in the movie. And and oh my gosh, during prep, just figuring out if is this going to be allowed. Like Felicity, that's her sitting up on that bridge.
Yeah, it's crazy. Oh gosh,
I don't. At one point, right before a take, where she walks up and climbs up, she turned and looked at me in the first AD, and she's like, "If I fall, I'll keep the cameras rolling." So no, actually, she said, "If I die, keep the cameras rolling." Yeah. And I looked at Matt, the AD, and I was like, "Did she just say that?" Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm sure William H. Macy would be really, really thrilled with that.
Okay. Promise we will.
Oh my God. Well, you know, everybody did such a good job. It was great seeing Clark Johnson in this, and a different type of role for him too. And another guy who has also directed. Did you learn anything from him? Did you talk to him about stuff?
Yeah, he was great, because he actually said he had just done a movie where Zach Braff was an actor in it, and his pet peeve was that Zach Braff made a tried to like poke his nose in the directing a little bit. And he's
Yeah.
like, I promise I won't do that. And I'm like, thanks. So Clark was amazing. He just came and let me boss him around.
Hey, that's the way it should be. That's the way it should. I wanted to ask you, I mean, you know, we were talking earlier about you had started your career, of course, as an actress and, you know, loved you and Felicity. I have to tell you, my son was born in 1992. So Power Rangers, go, go. I mean, that was our thing. Like you were, I mean, come on. How many times did we watch that in our house? Thanks so much. Yeah, thank you. But what I want to know from you, being an actor, how has that helped you with your directing skills?
Yeah, because somebody has asked me before, does it make you an actor's director? And I don't think it does. I think my career as an actress, I think what I bring from that to directing is just spending, you know, 15 years on a set, or actually 20 years on a set, and just it's innate to me, a lot of like the ins and outs and how the machine works.
Yeah.
And so I think just being an intuitive in that way is very helpful as a director, because you do have to move 100 miles per hour to shoot an indie film, or TV or any of this
Anything.
stuff. So I can move super quickly because it just feels innate.
Yeah. So what's next? I guess the directing bug has really stuck with you. Is this something that you want to pursue now?
Oh, that absolutely. So I'm not acting anymore. Like my passion is wholeheartedly into directing and writing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm writing a screenplay right now. Then I've optioned a couple scripts, and then I'm almost ready to dip my toes into television as well.
Good stuff. So we got lots coming from Amy Jo Johnson, people. I just want to congratulate you on Tammy Always Dying. It's really such a good film. You've done such a good job with it, and hats off to you. And keep them coming. All I can say is thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.